Okay, sidewalks, I think we're gonna pass on to next spring.
Okay?
This guy was prepared with a big speech.
I was all ready to go.
But I think it's a bigger project than I thought. The basis is always to go, like the post office to the lake, it looks like we might have to work and do that next year. Hopefully, there's too many dollars and
Well, after I went around and looked at the sidewalk, we got to talk about this.
There's never too many dollars for Scott.
So when you look at that big map, you can tell by looking at it, it's about 50-50 that the areas of town that have sidewalks versus the areas that don't. And if you see any of those little green hash marks, those are handicap curb cuts. So that's the one good thing that I would point out to you about this deal, is that if we have a sidewalk there, there's a good chance that it has handicap curb cuts. So that, I think, was really positive. And did I give you the cost estimate on doing that? Obviously, I did. It's $517,000. If we put a sidewalk everywhere that there's an orange line. Now, practically speaking, that's just not going to happen. Because there are some areas where sidewalks probably aren't. It's not in the best interest. But I want everybody to...
Landscaping trees would be a problem.
well,
I mean, it's late people, you got the Nash Avenue up there, a lot of people have,
put the trees right in the wrong spot.
yeah.
We don't want to cut any more trees down this year.
Oh, come on.
But if we can look on page 11, I just want everybody to at least know what our codes are on this deal. Because it's one of these things where we haven't followed through with a lot of implementation on sidewalks. But the ones that I circled, the responsibility for maintenance, it certainly is the adjacent property owner's responsibility to maintain that. Okay? In the same respect, it's the adjacent property owner's responsibility to construct it. But, so if there's a maintenance concern, then you go to the bottom one where the city may order repairs. And if they wouldn't follow through and get things repaired, it'd be up to the city to have the thing repaired and bill the property owner accordingly. The other big one, though, is circled on page 12, sidewalk construction order. If you want a sidewalk in any particular area, it's within the state code. That's where you see that code section of the state code. It's within the state code that says it's the city council's responsibility, and you could determine areas where you would really like to have sidewalks. Now, that's what the code says, and then you'd have to figure out kind of the political realities of the deal about why one person has to and one person doesn't. But
John was planning on moving anyway, right?
Yeah, yes, I really.
Pick his sidewalk up.
So how did this get to be an issue right now?
That got away from me.
That guy, he wanted sidewalk.
Well, I'm thinking, phase 2 of the downtown was to get the sidewalks from the west pier to downtown.
Oh, okay.
And some of them took them out years ago and didn't put them back in.
Well, I know, that has been an issue.
And so it looks, in order to cause mayhem and destruction again, I think we will wait till spring and then the city may have to put them in.
well, and that's the other thing. So here's the measurements on that. It's just over 500 feet of property that does not have sidewalk. From essentially from Stock Popcorn on down to the lake, down to Roy Quinn's. It's 506 feet. If it's $15 a foot, it's $7,590. And this may be one of those instances where, if you really wanted that sidewalk there, the city would put the bill in order to have that there. Then you have the other side of the argument about why'd you put one that at this guy's house and you didn't put that at my house. Go ahead.
But we're trying to connect the lake, get people from the campground to come up town.
I would think that one of the biggest concerns we have is wherever there is an existing sidewalk and heavily traveled by the public, that it be safe.
Right.
So any maintenance should be, anybody...
Well, we need to somehow make the public aware that they're responsible if it's a bad sidewalk. They're in trouble.
Well, it'll be in the paper next week now.
Did the city ever resolve the problem up there on East Street?
No. What's the problem?
Did that property up there on 8th Street that Ron Teen owns in the city take out part of that or have some damage there for the city to put it back?
I don't know, where's the property?
It was Ron Teen's. Now I think it's Nelson's, isn't it?
That vacant lot?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Isn't that in the city, you have part responsibility on that?
I don't know, did we remove that sidewalk there, Jack, for a storm sewer project or something?
Where's that at?
Up by school on 8th Street.
Yeah.
I think that might have been something.
Well, that's, yeah, it was kind of a joint venture, but
But the city
It was
never,
kind of-
the city never put in their share of it.
well, we tore it out because Ronnie was gonna replace it all. That's what was happening at the time, and then he was gonna fill dirt in and then bring it up to height. So we tore it all out from him, and then it got conjunction with our fault. That's a take, you know, what I remember of
And
it.
now we don't own the property anymore.
You know,
And I could be wrong too, but that's what I
Years ago, I
think, what, 15, 20 years ago?
it'd be hard for us to go back and fix all the problems that were caused prior to us, but we can at least be diligent from now on.
So if we're thinking about doing this $7,000 a time, are we talking about city labor doing it?
That's just
We're
what
not contracting somebody?
That's a contracted price, $15 is.
Is somebody pulling it for us?
Yeah.
So how wide is that?
That's just a 4-foot sidewalk.
So you want this on both sides though, coming up on
It's already on the other side, isn't it?
It's on the other side, it's just not on.
Everybody has it?
No, there's
No.
a couple of.
No, I think the other side goes all the
We
way.
don't have it by the water treatment plant and
No, I know.
Larry Bundy.
On the south side of the road is constant,
Okay.
but otherwise it's, yeah.
That would be
Water
nice
plant,
to
Larry
have that
Bundy, Nick
parallel,
Swanson.
Right.
yeah.
Because during Carnival, you see people walking in the street.
Well, I know, it is a safety issue like she
Right,
said.
and it exposes us to liability if we don't.
Well, and in the winter time, you're forced to walk in the street.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's an uncomfortable
We
deal,
just
but,
need to budget it, right?
yeah.
That's
Well,
what we need to do.
whether this is a sidewalk only thing, or is this a second phase streetscape work? Where it's really, you look at basically sidewalk and, streetlights.
Well, we talked about putting street lighting in going down the Masters anyway.
Right, to hook the street together.
That'd be
So,
something to do
we
it.
put it in front of like the water treatment or in front of everybody's that tore them out and never replaced it?
It's a council decision.
That's setting a precedent, you know, hell, I could tear out my sidewalk and just wait long enough and say you poured it. I don't think that's,
But if you tie that in as a street,
Yeah, it's street, it goes in slow.
it'd be easier to
Yeah,
swallow.
easier to pass it, as part of the project.
And it's easier to do it all at one time.
Yeah.
And I can say, hey, we did it because we want to work the downtown to the lake. That's, because if it weren't for the lake, we wouldn't have a downtown.
We made that clear when we started the streets
Right,
right here, that
right.
that second phase would be that way.
And doing that, you know, that's $7,500 for the cement, and put some lights up, you know, make little steps every year.
Right.
That was the idea of the sidewalk. I didn't know that the whole half town didn't have it. But we did make it so that it's handicap accessible all the way on the one side.
Right.
I think we're gonna take a look at that, let's see what that project would cost.
Yeah,
Since we're not making a decision right now,
no.
we tie it all in together and then,
Yeah, at least see what, so we got some options, we know
Yeah.
that's what it cost me
Yeah.
so much, but
but like I said, if we're tearing stuff up,
Let's put the lights and the wires in.
let's do it, you know, I mean, we've got a nice, you know, it's continuum, I
We
guess.
might have to put some boost benches down there once in a while.
I don't know, some of the people might like them, might not, I don't know.
We're only gonna make half the people happy anyway. The other half probably move out of town with me anyway.
What, is this a new story?
No.
Are you moving?
No, not yet.
Coach on that, John.
You're pretty happy about that.
No. Remember years ago, you said you couldn't print everything I said.
Oh,
Exclamation
I didn't ever have to say that. I think that was misunderstood.
I think that was for your benefit.
Yeah. And I've been doing really good too.
Yes, you have, yeah.
Okay. But we'll just work on that sidewalk project.
Okay,
Alright.
working on the
Good.
That'll give them at the bar something to talk about.
Again, just,
Oh, yeah.
because we
Address
can't
this
talk about the man and sewer no more.
No,
Something else.
we've got to keep the fuels going.
That's right, you gotta have a reason to come in for coffee.